Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 25th of January, 2026, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. A devastating mass shooting has left 8 people dead and a community traumatized after gunmen stormed a shabin in the Marikana informal settlement in Philippe East just after midnight on Saturday. Police are now hunting for at least 3 suspects believed to be responsible for one of the deadliest attacks on the Cape Flats in recent months. Western Cape Police Commissioner Thembinkosi Patekile confirmed that 8 cases of murder and 2 of attempted murder are under investigation. 2 people survived the attack with serious injuries and remain in hospital. According to police, the massacre is believed to be linked to extortion, a crime that has tightened its grip on parts of Philippe and Nyanga, but remains vastly underreported due to fear and intimidation. Eyewitnesses described a scene of terror inside the shabin. What began as a robbery quickly escalated into mass murder. Patrons were enjoying loud music when the gunman entered and engaged the owner in conversation. Moments later, shots rang out. Witnesses say exits were blocked, trapping people inside as attackers demanded cell phones and cash before opening fire at random. The owner was shot dead during the confrontation. When journalists arrived at the scene, the bodies had already been removed, but bloodstains and empty alcohol bottles were still visible through the windows. Residents described the area as a danger zone where killings have become routine and criminals operate openly. Many say dense informal housing makes policing nearly impossible, allowing suspects to disappear between tightly packed shacks. Community members also pointed to a deep breakdown in trust between police and residents, saying fear of retaliation keeps many from reporting extortion and violent crime. The massacre follows other deadly incidents in the area, including a previous tavern shooting nearby and the killing of an off-duty law enforcement officer last year. For many Cape Townians living on the Cape Flats, the attack has once again raised urgent questions about safety, policing, and state presence. After decades of waiting, the coastal community of Elands Bay is set to benefit from planned infrastructure investment aimed at unlocking housing, jobs, and long-term development. The announcement followed a ministerial visit earlier this month, marking the first time in nearly 3 decades that a national public works and infrastructure minister visited the area. During the visit, National Minister Dean McPherson and Western Cape Infrastructure Minister Tertuis Simmers outlined progress toward unlocking 313 sustainable housing opportunities for the community. The plans follow engagements with residents, municipal leaders, and local stakeholders, with officials stressing that Elands Bay's development is a priority. Minister Simmers said the focus is on restoring dignity and certainty for families while ensuring public funds are protected through careful planning. During the current financial year, the Western Cape Department of Infrastructure approved and released close to 560,000 rand to fund the planning phase of the proposed housing project. A project feasibility report has since been submitted and is undergoing detailed technical assessment. Once completed, it will be presented to the Project Assessment Committee, which will evaluate planning, financial, engineering, and implementation readiness. Looking ahead, more than 1.4 million rand has been allocated in the next financial year to finalize the project implementation readiness report. If all processes are completed without major delays, construction of services could begin in the following financial year. For Elands Bay residents, the plans represent long-awaited progress and the possibility of stable, dignified housing after years of uncertainty. Cape Town has endured yet another violent weekend, marked by a string of deadly shootings across multiple suburbs, leaving 5 people dead and several others injured within a matter of hours. The incidents unfolded from Friday afternoon into Saturday, stretching across Muizenberg, Maitland, Gugulethu, Philippe East, Kraaifontein, and Belhar, underscoring the continued and deeply troubling reach of gun violence across the city. One of the most harrowing incidents occurred shortly after 5 on Friday afternoon in Seawind, Muizenberg, where a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed. Police found the teenager lying in the road with a gunshot wound to the back of the head and declared him dead at the scene. Investigators have indicated that the killing may be gang-related, though no arrests have been announced. The death of a minor has once again intensified public anger and fear, particularly among families living in affected communities. Earlier that same afternoon, at just after 2, a 35-year-old man was shot dead at the corner of Patton and Coronation Roads in Maitland. He was found next to his vehicle with a fatal gunshot wound to the head. In Gugulethu, gunfire erupted at a property in David Street, New Crossroads, leaving 1 man dead and 3 others wounded. 2 women and another man were taken to hospital with gunshot injuries, while the deceased was declared dead at the scene. The violence continued on Saturday afternoon in Marcus Garvey, Philippi East, where 2 men aged 32 and 44 were gunned down on a footpath. Both victims were found with multiple gunshot wounds and were pronounced dead at the scene. Police also registered several attempted murder cases during the same period, including a shooting in Kraaifontein, where an 18-year-old man was shot in the neck, and another in Belhar, where a 37-year-old man sustained multiple gunshot wounds after being attacked while walking. All the cases remain under investigation, and no arrests have been announced. Police have urged anyone with information to contact Crime Stop or submit tips anonymously through the MySaps mobile application, as Cape Townians once again confront the reality of another deadly weekend dominated by gun violence. As Cape Town grapples with rising violent crime, emergency services across the Western Cape are also under mounting pressure from a surge in fire incidents, some of which authorities believe may be deliberate. This pressure was underscored by the arrest of a suspected arsonist after CCTV cameras captured an individual setting fire to vegetation along the M5 near Berkeley Road just after midnight over the weekend. City of Cape Town Traffic Services, working with the Traffic Communications Centre and the Freeway Management System cameras, tracked the suspect in real time and detained him shortly thereafter. The suspect was handed over to Maitland Police, where a formal case of arson has been registered. The arrest forms part of a broader enforcement push that has seen hundreds of arrests made by city agencies in recent days. Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security Alderman J.P. Smith condemned deliberate acts of fire setting, saying emergency services are already stretched by violent crime, vegetation fires, and residential blazes. He warned that such acts place lives at risk and divert critical resources from communities already under strain. The arrest comes as firefighters continue to battle major fires in the Cape Winelands, including a blaze above Franschhoek, where crews have been working through the night under extremely challenging conditions. Strong winds, steep terrain, and dense vegetation have hampered containment efforts, forcing aerial firefighting resources to stand down at times due to dangerous turbulence. Fire crews from multiple municipalities, supported by conservation teams, have remained on the fire lines overnight, while residents have been warned about heavy smoke and changing fire behavior. Authorities have confirmed that while no homes have been destroyed, vineyards have been damaged, and the full extent of the impact is still being assessed. The combination of violent crime and fire emergencies has intensified calls for accountability and prevention, as Cape Townians question how long emergency services can continue absorbing this level of sustained pressure. Another violent morning in the Western Cape has intensified calls for a provincial state of disaster as gang shootings and extortion-linked attacks continue to claim lives across multiple communities. Civil rights organizations, faith leaders, and political parties say the level of violence has shifted from episodic crime to a sustained emergency that now demands extraordinary intervention. The renewed calls come as police responded to 2 deadly crime scenes within minutes of each other, leaving 6 people dead and 2 others wounded. In the early hours of Tuesday morning, officers were dispatched to Melk Street in Ndabeni after a passerby reported what appeared to be a dog lying in blood. On arrival, police discovered 3 women aged between 20 and 52 and 1 adult male inside an informal dwelling. All four had sustained fatal gunshot wounds and were declared dead at the scene. Just 5 minutes later, police responded to another shooting at Maitland Cemetery along Trekker Road in Kensington, where 4 men were found with gunshot wounds. 2 men, aged 35 and 36, were declared deceased, while 2 others were taken to hospital. Authorities believe both attacks are gang-related. The Cape Crime Crisis Coalition says intelligence from Cape Flats communities shows gang leaders are able to control the tempo of violence with chilling precision, switching attacks on and off at will. The coalition reports that at least 26 people were killed in gang and gun-related shootings over the past weekend alone. Police Commissioner Thembisile Patekile confirmed that despite more than 38,000 firearms being confiscated over the past 5 years, shootings continue at an alarming rate. Pressure is now mounting on Premier Alan Winde and President Cyril Ramaphosa to escalate the response. Civil society groups argue that a state of disaster would unlock emergency funding, improve intelligence coordination, and allow for rapid deployment of violence prevention and gang exit programs. Without decisive action, they warn that Cape Townians are being forced to accept gun violence as a daily reality, something communities say they can no longer endure. A fast-moving fire in the Masiphumelele wetlands informal settlement has left families scrambling for safety as flames tore through tightly packed homes and surrounding vegetation. The settlement, home to about 14,000 people, was engulfed by fire late Tuesday afternoon, with strong winds and dry conditions making containment extremely difficult. Thick smoke blanketed the area as residents fled with whatever belongings they could carry. The City of Cape Town Fire and Rescue Service confirmed that firefighters were alerted just after 3 in the afternoon. On arrival, crews found both structures and vegetation alight, prompting the activation of aerial support. Helicopters were deployed to conduct water bombing runs over the wetlands and nearby reed beds, particularly around the Lake Michelle area where dense vegetation accelerated the spread. Sandparks and Table Mountain National Park teams joined city firefighters on the ground, supported by volunteer wildfire services. Around 40 ground crews were deployed, working in challenging conditions as gusting winds limited access and visibility. Firefighters focused on preventing the flames from spreading further into residential zones while protecting critical access routes. The Cape of Good Hope SPCA confirmed that its emergency responders were on site, assisting disaster relief partners and preparing for animal evacuations where needed. Residents described scenes of panic and fear as families rushed to escape. Emergency services remain on scene, with officials urging the public to follow verified updates through the City of Cape Town's official channels as relief and recovery planning begins. A brutal daylight stabbing on Lion's Head has shattered assumptions about safety on one of Cape Town's most popular hiking routes, triggering widespread concern among Cape Townians and visitors alike. A couple hiking down the trail toward Camps Bay were attacked in broad daylight after being approached from behind by 3 suspects, including 2 children believed to be around 12 years old. The attackers allegedly asked for food before producing knives and launching a sudden and violent assault. According to the male victim, the attack appeared deliberate rather than opportunistic. His wife was slashed across the face and stabbed in the stomach while trying to fight off 2 of the attackers while he was confronted by an adult suspect. During the struggle, he tripped, struck his head on a rock, and briefly lost consciousness. The attackers fled with a cell phone, leaving the couple injured and traumatized on a busy hiking trail. Despite other hikers being nearby, the couple say their calls for help went unanswered. They later encountered officials further down the mountain, raising serious questions about patrol visibility and response times. The couple also criticized the police response, saying no immediate search was launched and that a formal case was only opened the following day after repeated follow-ups. While both victims have since physically recovered, the psychological toll remains severe. The incident has reignited urgent debate about safety, coordination between authorities, and the assumption that daylight equates to security on Lion's Head, a route used daily by locals and tourists who now fear that even popular spaces are no longer safe. Premier Alan Winde has renewed calls for stronger resourcing of the South African Police Service following an oversight visit to the Kraaifontein police station, one of the Western Cape's high-crime precincts. The visit forms part of a broader provincial oversight program aimed at holding police leadership accountable and identifying operational gaps that undermine effective crime fighting. During engagements with station leadership and frontline officers, the Premier received briefings on violent crime, property-related offences, and gang activity affecting the area. Officers outlined the pressure placed on limited personnel, vehicle shortages, and strained investigative capacity, all of which hamper response times and visibility policing. Premier Winde also conducted a walkthrough of the station to assess infrastructure, working conditions, and holding facilities. Concerns raised included the effectiveness of the Community Policing Forum, shortages of operational vehicles, and weaknesses in crime intelligence and technology usage. Officers shared their day-to-day challenges, highlighting how infrastructure and resource constraints impact morale and service delivery. The Premier stressed that crime prevention is central to economic growth, noting that unsafe communities deter investment and job creation. He confirmed that he will engage with the Acting Minister of Police early next month to raise concerns around intelligence failures and to push for meaningful interventions. Regular oversight visits will continue across the province, with the stated aim of driving accountability, improving coordination, and restoring safety in communities under siege. Fear now governs daily life across the Cape Flats as extortion syndicates tighten their grip on township communities, turning ordinary survival into an act of defiance for Capetonians. The brutality of this underground economy was laid bare just after midnight in Marikana informal settlement in Philippi East, where 8 people were gunned down inside a shebeen after armed attackers stormed the premises and opened fire. Investigators believe the massacre was directly linked to extortion demands after the owner allegedly refused to pay protection money, a pattern residents say has become deadly routine. Across Khayelitsha, Gugulethu, Nyanga, and surrounding areas, extortion has spread into every layer of township life. Informal traders, spaza shop owners, taxi operators, construction contractors, and even municipal workers report being forced to pay monthly fees simply to operate. Those who resist face threats, assault, or death, while witnesses remain silent, fearing retaliation against their families. Entire trading areas have collapsed as livelihoods vanish overnight, leaving once busy streets eerily empty. The economic and social fallout is severe. Service delivery stalls as work teams wait for security escorts, refuse piles up, and communities lose access to basic services. Workers commuting before dawn describe being confronted and ordered to pay for safe passage to reach their jobs. Law enforcement has confirmed hundreds of extortion-related arrests across the province in recent years, yet convictions remain rare, fueling public anger and mistrust. Community leaders warn that without decisive action to dismantle these syndicates, fear will continue to rule the Cape Flats, with consequences that reach far beyond township borders. Cape Town's port may boast newly installed high-tech cranes, but its long-promised digital transformation remains stalled by the failure to unlock a vast stretch of land that could fundamentally change how South Africa's most important fruit export gateway operates. Directly opposite the container terminal lies the 253-hectare Cullenborg precinct, repeatedly identified as the missing link needed to integrate port operations with road and rail logistics. Despite early commitments and a formal request for information issued more than 2 years ago, development has failed to move beyond planning, fueling growing frustration among exporters, city leaders, and logistics operators. Billions of rand have been spent on new port equipment, including wind-resistant cranes designed to improve productivity during adverse weather. Yet operational performance continues to lag far behind global standards, with cranes moving containers at a fraction of the pace seen at comparable ports. exporters argue that wind disruptions have become a convenient explanation for deeper systemic inefficiencies, including equipment breakdowns, delayed maintenance, and weak coordination across the supply chain. During peak fruit season, these shortcomings translate into containers stacking up, vessels missing slots, and producers diverting exports to distant ports at enormous cost. City leadership has repeatedly warned that leaving Culemborg undeveloped undermines every investment made inside the port itself. The precinct is expected to house cold storage, logistics services, and intermodal facilities that would ease congestion and dramatically reduce turnaround times. Economists estimate that a fully efficient port could unlock tens of thousands of jobs, billions in export growth, and significant new tax revenue for the Western Cape. Privatization discussions, widely seen as essential to restoring competitiveness, remain bogged down amid union resistance and policy delays. Supporters argue inefficiency already destroys livelihoods far beyond the harbour fence, while critics fear automation-led job losses. As the next fruit season approaches, pressure is mounting for decisive action to ensure Cape Town's port becomes a modern gateway for growth rather than a national bottleneck. Cape Town's global popularity is increasingly colliding with the everyday reality of those who live in the city, as growing numbers of Cape Townians speak out about the pressure caused by tourism and the influx of digital nomads. What was once widely accepted as an economic positive is now being questioned, as rising costs, overcrowded spaces, and a loss of local access begin to define daily life. A viral TikTok video by resident Luke Hackney has given voice to frustrations many say have been building for years, capturing the feeling that the city is no longer designed with locals in mind. Hackney highlights packed coffee shops, endless queues, and remote workers occupying tables for hours as symbols of a deeper imbalance. He also raises concerns about noise, cultural insensitivity, and the treatment of wildlife, particularly at Boulders Beach, where tourists have been filmed chasing penguins for photographs. Many Cape Townians echo these sentiments, saying housing, food, and basic services have become increasingly unaffordable as international demand grows. At the same time, Cape Town continues to be promoted abroad as an ideal and inexpensive destination for remote work. Online entrepreneur Johnny Plein recently encouraged overseas workers to relocate, praising the lifestyle, climate, and affordability compared to European cities. That contrast between foreign affordability and local exclusion has become central to the debate. Residents are now calling for stronger regulation of short-term rentals, better protection for local businesses, and urban planning that prioritizes communities over visitor numbers. As tourism continues to grow, the challenge facing city leaders is how to preserve Cape Town's global appeal without pushing Cape Townians to the margins. Premier Alan Winde has confirmed that the current wildfire season is the worst the Western Cape has experienced in more than a decade, as the province battles both extreme fires and growing water security risks. Addressing media alongside local government minister Anton Bradell, the Premier said more than 132,000 hectares of land have already burned, making this the most destructive fire season since 2015. While no human lives have been lost, numerous structures have been destroyed, and wildlife losses have been severe, placing enormous strain on emergency services and disaster management teams. Between December and mid-January alone, the provincial government has spent more than 19 million rand on firefighting operations, with aerial firefighting accounting for the bulk of that cost. More than 1,600 municipal firefighters, supported by 1,000 working on fire personnel, remain on the front lines. Cabinet has now formally requested a provincial disaster declaration to unlock emergency funding and allow departments to shift budgets to support firefighting, water infrastructure, and municipal response capacity. The provincial cabinet has also backed a disaster classification request linked to worsening water shortages across several municipalities, with Nyasna currently the hardest hit. Water restrictions are already in place, and officials warn the situation could deteriorate further if dry conditions persist. Projections indicate the fire season may stretch into May, driven by prolonged heat, dry vegetation, and strong winds. Premier Windy stressed that disaster declarations are preventative tools, not signs of failure, and are aimed at protecting communities, infrastructure, and the provincial economy. He also confirmed upcoming engagements with national government on both disaster funding and calls for a crime disaster declaration. Tomorrow brings another clear and settled summer's day across the Western Cape. In Cape Town, temperatures start the morning mild at 18 degrees, before rising to a comfortable high of 25 during the afternoon. Paarl warms up quickly, climbing from a low of 15 to a hot 33, while Stellenbosch sees a pleasant rise from 14 degrees to a daytime high of 29. Clear skies are expected through the morning, afternoon, and evening, with no rain forecast anywhere in the region, and humidity sitting at a moderate 55%. A southwesterly wind picks up during the day, blowing at around 20 kilometers an hour, strongest along the coastline and exposed areas. At sea, conditions turn energetic with a 2.3-meter southwesterly swell and a 12-second period, making for rougher conditions along the coast. Low tide in Cape Town is at 1:48 in the morning, followed by high tide at 8:20. The second low tide arrives at 2:58 in the afternoon, with high tide again at 9:04 in the evening. Sunrise is at 6:02, with sunset at 19:55. The ultraviolet index reaches an extreme level of 13, so sun protection will be essential throughout the day. With that, we conclude today's bulletin, and now you know what's happening in the mother city. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget tomorrow's Cape Town News drops right here on YouTube at 3 p.m. Until next time, stay safe, informed, and connected.